Hi guys, so I want to show you this amazing video from MSNBC. So just before we look at it, I just give you some context. So on Thursday night at 6:30 local time in the US in Washington DC, Donald Trump gave a speech, and it was expected it would be a speech to concede the elections. You know, he has lost, and that's it, and congratulations to Joe Biden or whatever. Or at least he was going to admit that things are not going well and it's looking likely that he's not going to win. At the moment of this recording, a lot of the ballots that were waiting to be counted are now being counted, and most of these were mailed in particular swing states such as Georgia, Pennsylvania, and now that they're being counted, it's looking more and more likely that they're going to lean to Joe Biden. Now, a lot of these were mailed in from large cities, and urban centers generally vote for the Democrats. So what happened was Donald Trump started to speak about the situation, and he was incapable of telling the truth. And this actually forced the anchor from MSNBC to stop the speech. So let's hear what happened.
Good evening. I'd like to provide the American people with an update on efforts to protect the integrity of our very important 2020 election. If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us. If you count the votes that came in late, we're looking at them very strongly, but a lot of votes came in late. I've already decisively won many critical states, including massive victories in Florida, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio.
Okay, here we are again in the unusual position of not only interrupting the President of the United States, but correcting the President of the United States. And Ari Melber, don't go far. Given that you are our chief legal correspondent, there are no illegal votes that we know of. There has been no Trump victory that we know of.
That's right. Brian, we just heard the president come out pretty remarkable. As you said, he said, quote, according to the legal votes, he believes he wins. That's false. The legal votes, if you want to use that term, or the votes that have been lawfully apportioned, meaning what we've been following in each of these states, do not show that. They actually show what we've found, which is some states going in both directions, no one to 270.
The idea, okay, once again, legal votes and illegal votes. There are no legal votes and illegal votes. There are ballots that have to be counted. The problem is for Trump, let me explain what happened. Most of the people who voted in favor of Trump did not send their ballots by mail. They turned up on election day and voted for Trump. Now, what happened was, as the counting began, they started to count, in most of these states, they started to count in-person ballots first. And it looked like Trump was leading. But what happened was there was a backlog of mailed-in ballots. So people had the possibility to vote from home, mail their ballot in, as long as the date on the mailed-in ballot was up to election day. So any day, I think it's election day or any day before. As long as that was the case, these ballots would be counted. Now, they were sitting in warehouses waiting to be counted. And there were a lot of them. I think it's over 100 million people voted by postal ballot this year. Now, as these ballots started to be counted, the numbers switched. So the lead that Donald Trump held in many of these states started to decrease. And in many cases, Joe Biden started to build up a lead in these states. What Trump was trying to do is say that these counts should be stopped because he's losing. And he's trying to undermine the entire process by saying that these ballots that are now being counted are illegal. They're not illegal. They have to be counted. Now, luckily, he doesn't have any control over this. He's attempted to undermine the process by getting his lawyers involved, trying to undermine it through the media, and then he gave this speech, a ridiculous speech where he criticized those counting the ballots, claiming that they're Democrats, that the Democrats have dumped ballots of his or are double counting and things like this, and claiming that his watchers that he has advised to go to these polling stations to monitor are not allowed to monitor. A disaster. And you have the media having to interrupt his speech, which seems to be a speech where you have to read between the lines. Donald Trump is not very clear, but he seems to be conceding the election. He has realized, I'm not going to win this. The counting is going against me. It's looking more and more likely that Joe Biden will not just win 270 electoral college votes, but maybe much more than that. It's still early at the time of this recording, but it is looking more and more likely that Joe Biden will be the president. It's not guaranteed. Something could happen, something could change, but the possibilities for Trump are very close to zero. Not zero, but very close to it. I'm fearful about what's going to happen after this, because Donald Trump doesn't want to concede. His narrative now is that the election was stolen, that it was taken from him. And I don't know how his supporters are going to react to this. Now, I think the Republican Party understand that Trump is on the way out, and they're not going to stand by his side. There's no benefit for them. They'll probably also even throw him under a bus. Whatever power he had has completely evaporated. And you're starting to see people who were actually supportive of Trump now abandoning him. And what's interesting is there's, I think in Georgia, there is a Senate seat up for grabs. No candidate won enough of a majority. So they're going to have a runoff in January, and Trump will be asked to support this candidate, but Trump will not benefit from that because Trump will be out of office. So there's probably Trump is not going to support the Republican candidate. Anyway, let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.